aromatase inhibitors. You don't want to block the good stuff. You want to eliminate the bad. If you eliminate the bad, you can have as much as the good stuff as you want, and you're going to be fine, and you'll feel even better than before.
Welcome to the TRT and Hormone Optimization channel. And as a guest today, we have back with us Danny Bossa. Welcome, Danny.
Thanks, Steven. How you been?
Fine, thank you. So Danny has the channel of his own right now. It's called the Danny Bossa podcast, and you surely have to check it out. I will leave the link to it in the description of this video. So tell us, Danny, what are you going to talk about today?
So as Steven was mentioning, guys, I started my own little podcast. It's going to be a little hobby. I'm not going to do videos anywhere near as often as Steven gets to do. He's kind of like a video making machine. That might change a little soon with some of the stuff he's going to be doing. But when I got something interesting, I'll put it up. So if you've been enjoying the content I've been putting out so far, definitely check it out. Like I said, Steven's going to leave a link in the description. One of the videos I did on it was an interview with Dave Lee, where we discussed the difference between good estrogens and bad estrogens, how to eliminate bad estrogens, and why it is that some guys feel so much better on an aromatase inhibitor. And even with that video, where we went even into more detail, we got a lot of flack, guys saying, well, I need an AI, and some guys need an AI, and so on and so forth. So I want to do a little visual demonstration for you guys, the ones that are really dead set on blocking estrogen. And I agree, some of you are taking an aromatase inhibitor and feeling significantly better. And I acknowledge that. I get it. It's not only in your head. The guys that say some of us need it, if I stop taking an AI, I feel like crap, and I've tried every single protocol known to man. And as soon as I add a little bit of an AI, I feel better. Agreed, you do. Would you like to know why you feel better and what you can potentially do to feel even better and get rid of that AI entirely and not have these issues? Okay, so for the ones that are watching this video right now saying Danny Bossa is full of it, humor me a second, watch my little demonstration, and then you can comment in the video below and tell me what you think. I think this might be a little bit of an aha moment for a lot of you. All right, so before I get into the little visual demonstration, I want to go over a couple of little fundamentals to make sure you guys are all caught up on what's what. Okay, so first of all, in men, all of our estrogens, the estradiol, estrone, estriol, and whatnot, come from the conversion of testosterone into these estrogens using an enzyme called aromatase. Okay, in women have ovaries that directly produce these estrogens. Okay, but in men, we do not have a gland that creates these estrogens. Okay, all of these estrogens are converted from testosterone being basically the raw materials for these estrogens. Okay, and then there's this enzyme called aromatase, which converts some of the testosterone into these estrogens. Okay, these estrogens are absolutely critical for your well-being. And if you think they're not, you can do a little experiment. You can use an aromatase inhibitor, which again will reduce the amount of aromatase activity, that thing that converts testosterone into estrogens. Take a whole bunch of that to ensure that you've got less aromatase. You'll wind up with less of these estrogens, and you can let me know how you feel. You're going to feel terrible. Okay, so these are estrogens that your body absolutely needs to thrive. Now, many right now are saying, yeah, but too much is no good. We're going to get to that in a second with my little visual demonstration. So just hold on one little quick second. Okay, so we have no gland that creates this. We have a gland that creates insulin. We have, the thyroid that creates thyroid. We have the testicles that creates testosterone, but we do not have a gland that directly creates estradiol. All of it uses this aromatase enzyme, and the body self-regulates how much of this enzyme you're going to have that's going to transfer one into the other. Okay, so that enzyme is found in fat cells. The more of fatter you are, or obese or overweight, or whatever politically correct word you want to use, the more of this aromatase you are going to have. So you see a lot of fat guys that have low T. Now, why is that? They have more aromatase, which means more of their testosterone is converting into estradiol. And by converting more into estradiol, I'm really sorry about that. By converting more into estradiol, they wind up with less testosterone. So what the body does is it sees a lot of estradiol in the body and says, hey, we've got plenty of it. I'm trying to self-regulate the amount of these estrogens, okay? And because there's already a sufficient amount, let me now cut back on the raw materials, which is testosterone. Okay. So this is how things work. As soon as you have enough estrogens in the body will see that there's enough estrogens. And in order to lower the production of it, if you will, it's going to back off on the creation of the raw materials, which is testosterone. So your testosterone levels will go down. Think with body thinking that if the testosterone levels go down, you'll wind up with less of these estrogens. Okay. So higher amounts of estrogen in the body are going to lower the amount of testosterone in the body. Now, if you've got normal levels of estrogen, okay, as testosterone goes up, estrogen will go up. Now, estrogen tells the brain, sees that there's enough estrogen. The brain now backs off on the production of testosterone. Testosterone goes down. Estrogen maybe will eventually come back down. Now the brain gets a signal, I need to create more testosterone to create more estrogen. And you can see how this thing works, kind of like a thermostat. Now, when you're raising estrogens in a natural guy, this occurs, okay? But obviously, if you're on TRT and you're taking testosterone from an exogenous source, right? You're giving yourself an injection every couple of days or once a week. This is a moot point. There's no amount of estrogen that's going to lower your testosterone levels because you're not relying on your natural ability to create this testosterone. You're relying on an exogenous source, right? So these estrogens are essential for your health. They are critical for your health, and the body will tell, the brain will send a signal to create these estrogens as it sees fit, okay? You can potentially have an underlying condition where the body will create more of it, okay? So this is really as an on-demand, as-needed basis. If it sees the need, it will create more, because these estrogens are extremely protective of the body. So if you have some kind of underlying condition going on, the body may create more of this to help protect your body from these underlying conditions. But in turn, what will happen sometimes is it will lower your testosterone levels because, again, your body is seeing enough of this. Your testosterone levels go down. And this is sometimes why guys with underlying conditions or overweight or whatever, thyroid issues, insulin issues, will often wind up with low testosterone because the body is ramping up aromatase. The body is ramping up the production of these hormones to help protect you. But the side effect, again, is it starts lowering testosterone, okay? Now you've got the other kinds of estrogens. You've got environmental estrogens, you have xenoestrogens, you've got phytoestrogens, you've got synthetic estrogens, like stuff found in birth control pills, okay? Xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens, I don't care what some of the literature will tell you, is not good for you, all right? I'm gonna give you a perfect example, soy. Anyone who thinks that soy is fantastic for health, that those phytoestrogens are good, I'm sorry, these estrogens do not have the same impact in the body as things like estradiol, okay? I have some very, very, very mild gyno at this point, but if I go to a sushi place and I eat soybeans because I think they're delicious, within a day or two, it starts swelling up like crazy, okay? That's one thing. Another thing, cannabis. If you have cannabis as an edible, all good. If you have cannabis as a vape, all good. However, if you smoke it, highly estrogenic. I went through a period of time where I had really, really bad insomnia and I didn't want to take sleeping pills and stuff. So I started smoking a little bit of cannabis before bed and it made me sleep fantastic. Problem is highly estrogenic. My little gyno started swelling up and swelling up and swelling up, and it went away as soon as I stopped. Okay. So that's not good. Another thing too is a lot of the products that you're using, your cosmetics, your body washes, your shampoos, your deodorants and whatever, a lot of these have a lot of different types of chemicals that act like estrogens, okay? And this is not something that you want to be exposing your body to at all. It will disrupt your endocrine system. We call them endocrine disrupting chemicals or EDCs. And there's Stephen showing the Estrogeneration book by, was it Anthony J? Okay, definitely check that book out. It's really, really quite interesting, okay? And the synthetic estrogens try to compete at the receptor level with the good estrogens that your body already makes, okay? So you have receptors that all of these different hormones will try to attach to, the good estrogens, your androgens, and all of these synthetic estrogens. So keep in mind that those bad estrogens do not have the same effect in the body as the estrogens that your body creates naturally, okay? Those bad estrogens are not native to the body. Your body cannot create them. Your body is creating the good stuff, okay? Now, I'll give you a perfect example. I did a video on this channel once with Jean-François Tremblay. It was called, I think it was called An Introduction to Peptides, or no, it was Peptides for Health, potentially. we discussed how magnesium is so important. Magnesium is a mineral that's responsible for hundreds of thousands of processes in the body. And what happens is most people wind up being deficient in this very important mineral. And the body needs it to thrive. Without this mineral, body doesn't work properly. So what does it do when there's a deficiency? It's going to start tapping into all kinds of different heavy metals, using them as an alternative to magnesium, which is much better. Okay. And this is what happens to some people, that the bodies basically get loaded up with heavy metals. So by using those heavy metals, the processes will continue to run. They just won't run with the same efficiency as magnesium. They might run at 50% efficiency or 40% or 30%. They're going to continue to run, but not very, very well. With these environmental estrogens, it's kind of the same thing. So people that are trying to do, they're saying, I want to do a heavy metal detox. There's really not much to do. All you need to do is you raise the amount of magnesium in the body to make sure there's plenty of it. The body will then say, hey, I got plenty of magnesium. I don't need all these heavy metals anymore. And the body will naturally detox and get rid of all these heavy metals because there's enough magnesium for it to use. Without enough magnesium, it's going to be holding on to all of these heavy metals as a replacement, which obviously is not a good idea. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little visual demonstration for those of you who are saying, yes, I know, but I need an AI, and without an AI, and I get it. You feel better with an AI. I'm going to show you why you feel better with an AI with a kindergarten level explanation. Okay, so I've prepared over here. I'm going to take this off. Prepared 2 bottles of water. And my green screen is showing. I guess with the green screen, this isn't going to work, but because I got an actual green screen. This guy here is red. We're going to call this guy the bad estrogens. And this guy here, which is like, wow, I did not anticipate that. This is what happens when you have an actual physical green screen and choose green as the color of your liquid. Okay, but let's just assume this magical see-through liquid is the good estrogens in your body. Okay, so this is the good estrogens, and the red stuff is the bad estrogens. All right, so let's do a little experiment here. Let's assume we got a guy who's fairly healthy. Okay, he's always taking care of his diet. He doesn't eat crap. He's very picky what kind of cosmetics he uses. Okay, and he's got some estradiol in his body, right? He's got a little bit of estradiol in his body. For whatever reason, he decides he's going to go on TRT. Okay, because maybe he's got some kind of issues going on. So what happens when you get on TRT? You start raising your estradiol, right? So I'm going to put some more in here. We start raising your estradiol levels. So now he has a body. Oh, this is of all the colors I had to choose. Unbelievable. But he already has some estradiol in his body. We're now going to add some more estradiol to his body. And he's all good. No issues. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's beautiful. Feels fine. He's the type of guy that goes on TRT and says, I don't get you guys who says you need an AI because I just got on TRT. I'm not using an AI and I feel great. I don't understand what the big fuss is all about. Right. So you've heard and seen plenty of guys like that. We're going to do another little experiment. We're going to get the second guy who's got some good estrogens in his body. Okay. But he also has a lot of bad estrogens in his body. Okay. He's got a lot of bad estrogens in his body. Now you basically decide, I'm going to raise testosterone, which is obviously going to raise estradiol. So what happens? We're going to now add some estradiol to the mix. And now he's borderline. Okay. He's really, really, really on the borderline. He might be okay without an AI. He might need one. It's really going to depend on the situation. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. Now we're going to do my last little experiment here. Let's pretend this other guy has been eating crap his entire life. He's overweight. He uses all kinds of gunk on his body. He's smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol like crazy. His liver is shot. Okay. So, and he is just absolutely loaded to the gills with bad estrogens, right? He's loaded to the gill. And clearly he's going to say, I need to get on TRT because I have low T. Well, of course, if you've got a ton of estrogens in your body as a natural guy, it's going to suppress the amount of testosterone because your body is trying to lower the amount of estrogen in your body because now there's too much, right? So it's going to cut back on your testosterone production. Your testosterone levels will be low. But considering this guy is constantly adding bad estrogens to his body, there's already a very high estrogenic load in his body. The body's not going to want to make any more testosterone. Actually, it's going to say, what for? If I make more testosterone, this is going to go up even more, and I can't afford that. So we're going to leave testosterone tanked, okay? So here you got a guy who's got tons and tons of bad estrogen in his body. I'm going to fill up another glass over here with my magical see-through estradiol. Okay, so here's my magical see-through estradiol. We're going to put the guy on testosterone. We're now going to add estradiol to his already highly estrogenic body. What do you think is going to happen? We got a mess. We got a mess. This is no good, right? This is clearly a problem. I need an AI. Without an AI, I don't feel good, and so on and so forth. Okay? So what's happening here? You've got the guy that's sorry about that. You've got the guy who's got a ton of bad estrogens. His liver is unable to metabolize them. And you're adding some good estrogens to the mix. And as soon as that happens, I've got high E2 issues and I need to take an AI. Okay, but what are you doing when you're taking this AI? You're not fixing this. Okay? This stuff here is already estrogen. All of the EDCs, the phytoestrogens, the xenoestrogens, environmental estrogens, the synthetic estrogens that are in your body are already estrogen. So by saying, well, if I take an aromatase inhibitor, I'm going to reduce the amount of estrogen. No. That doesn't work that way. You're not going to reduce this because this is coming from an outside source. Your body did not make this, okay? What you would be reducing is you would be reducing the amount of good estrogen that your body is making, okay? So you have to think to yourself now, again, just to make this straightforward. Here I am now with a body loaded up with bad estrogens. I've now raised testosterone levels. That was a great idea, which is now raising estradiol. I really, really want this stuff. The problem is if I put this stuff in here, we got too much. So guys are saying, well, obviously I don't want this stuff anymore. I don't want to raise estradiol because when I raise estradiol, bad things happen. No, you don't want to do that. You want to minimize the bad stuff, right? You want to minimize as much as possible all of this junk and have as little of it in your body as possible. Because if you do, you can start putting in the good stuff and you're going to feel great. Not only are you going to feel great, you will be able to get off your AI because you won't need it anymore because now you're no longer blocking the good stuff. You really want the good stuff, okay? And the good estrogens in your body are going to work a hell of a lot better than the bad estrogens in your body. Are you guys kind of having a little bit of an aha moment? So this is why we keep telling guys, you don't want to take an AI because you're blocking the good stuff and instead you're keeping the bad. You want to get rid of the bad and then the good stuff, you can load it up as much as you want and you're fine. You also got to keep in mind that those receptors, if you don't have any of the good stuff there to potentially attach to these receptors, guess what's going to happen? The bad stuff is going to have a field day. It's going to have all kinds of receptors to attach to and do all kinds of crazy things. So the only real ways that we know to prevent this from occurring is A, to raise testosterone levels, because the more androgens you have saturating those receptors, the less of this junk is going to be floating around. And you definitely want to have a lot of the good stuff because that good estrogen is the only thing that will potentially try to outcompete the bad stuff. So you want to have really good levels of testosterone, really good levels of the good estrogens. And now the bad estrogens don't really have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere to attach. And hopefully your body will metabolize and rid them a little bit better, okay? So there's a number of things that you can be doing here to make that happen. The most important one is liver function. You got to keep in mind that all estrogens, good and bad, are metabolized in the liver. If your liver function is poor, it's not metabolizing those estrogens. So instead of estrogens winding up in your body and your liver basically detoxes them and gets rid of them, your liver's not doing a good job. So what happens? You wind up with more. You wind up with more. You wind up with more. I got ED. I got the man boobs. I'm putting on fat. I've got this issue. I got a little, etc. You're getting a buildup of this stuff. And simply saying, I'm going to add some testosterone, everything's going to go away. No, you're going to wind up with more and more buildup. You need to fix the liver. The liver needs to be optimized as much as possible. Dave Lee's done some great videos on this channel in that regard about taking things like Tutka or milk thistle, NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine. Guys who have fatty liver can take inositol and choline. There's all kinds of things that you can do to improve your liver function. Avoiding alcohol, stay away from the crappy food, and so on. Improve that liver function. Your body will metabolize these things a lot quicker. And after that, you can have all the estradiol that you want in the world, no issue. You can also use DIM and calcium deglucarate temporarily, okay? This is not a long-term fix. This is something you can use temporarily. It will assist in helping the liver metabolize and rid itself of some of this stuff to help get you started. But you want to use that for a short term, because that stuff will help rid the body of pretty much everything, including androgens, including your testosterone, okay? So that's a temporary fix. Another thing, thyroid function. If you're severely hypothyroid, it can mess things up. Get your thyroid evaluated. If you need thyroid, try bringing those levels up. That helps a ton. You want to clean up your diet. You want to stay away as much as possible from junk food. You want to stay away from preservatives. Everything you're going to buy that's in a box or a can, read the ingredients. If you don't know what an ingredient, go Google it. Find out what that thing is and decide, do I actually want to put that in my body, yes or no? Okay. You want to eat, you want to stay away from mass-produced meats that are either raised like in mass, mass quantities, that are jacked up with hormones and they're fed all kinds of garbage. You want free-range, grass-fed meat, hormone-free. Okay, with the chicken, grain-fed, free range, no hormones, no nothing. Get your stuff from a farm. Yes, I understand that it's going to be more expensive, but I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. If you can get some stuff from a farm, organic, that you know isn't loaded up with this stuff, that's going to make a huge difference in your overall physiology. Not to mention, it actually tastes a hell of a lot better too. The eggs are the same thing. We get all our eggs from a farm. I don't get eggs from the grocery store anymore. That's done. They're loaded up with garbage. You open up an egg from a grocery store and an egg from a farm that's grain-fed, free range, and you look at them, they don't even look the same. They don't even taste the same. Okay. Clean up your environment. Go in your bathroom. Go look at every single product you use, your shampoo, your conditioner, your moisturizer, your deodorant, your body wash, your whatever, your toothpaste, I don't care what it is, and go look up the ingredients. If there's anything in there that contains phthalates, throw it in the garbage. Any type of chemicals in there that you look up and find out that it's either something that mimics an estrogen or mimics something of an endocrine disrupting chemical, or mimics phthalates or anything like that, you want to get rid of it. Okay. It's so easy to get some natural products. I use natural deodorants. I get tea tree oil soap. It's completely natural. Everything I use is natural. It made a hell of a difference. If you recall the videos I started off with at the beginning, I mean, I had boobs. I really had boobs. And just by swapping out all this stuff and cleaning up my environment, my body now isn't getting bombarded nearly as much as it was before with all that junk. Okay. And I mean, I'm sorry, it's gone at this point. Okay. And raising the androgen levels also helped a lot, because at the time my TRT was not nearly good enough. And by bringing those levels up even further, those receptors get saturated, much less room for these estrogens and stuff to take place, to attach. So, and it's not just a matter of raising androgen levels, but you want to make sure that you have stable levels of androgens. Okay, so injections once a week isn't optimal for most guys. Some guys can get away with it, but not necessarily all of them. If you're feeling, I got morning wood one day and then I don't, or I have my shot and I have morning wood for the first 2 days and then it goes away and I don't have any rest for a week, that means that your levels are not stable. Okay, increase, go to maybe twice a week. If it's still the same, increase to 3 times and keep increasing until you get to the point that you say, I feel flat and stable all week long. The more that you feel flat and stable, less of these fluctuations, less issues like gyno, water retention, and so on and so forth. All of the things that guys claim to be high E2 symptoms is often these fluctuations of hormones. So, moral of the story here, Keep your liver function solid. Get your thyroid checked. But again, liver, make sure it's good. Clean up your environment. Check what you're putting on your mouth. Check what you're putting on your body. All of that stuff. Get your water filtered. Minimize as much as possible these bad estrogens, knowing that you're breathing some and you're going to get exposed to them regardless, but try to minimize your exposure. Do not block the estradiol, because that's the only thing that's going to outcompete the receptors from these bad estrogens. Okay. If you take an AI right now, you're lowering the amount of estradiol, and now you have more of these bad estrogens that can attach. You think you feel great, but over the long term, it's not going to be good for you. Not to mention that aromatase inhibitor drug in itself is toxic. And if people think it's not toxic, please go look up aromatase inhibitor toxic on Google, or arimidex toxicity or whatever. It is toxic. Okay. It's not even up for debate. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Again, new channel is going to be the Danny Bossa podcast. If you liked the content that was putting out on this channel, definitely go check it out. There's only a handful of videos right now, but go subscribe. Do me a favor, click that notification button. You'll know when stuff's getting posted. I will join Steven from time to time for a video when it's appropriate, if we have something in mind that could work between us. And that's pretty much it. I hope that was helpful, and I hope that kind of rewires the way you're thinking about aromatase inhibitors. You don't want to block the good stuff. You want to eliminate the bad. If you eliminate the bad, you can have as much as the good stuff as you want, and you're going to be fine, and you'll feel even better than before.
Well, Dan, thank you very much, Danny. That was very visual and insightful. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.